In TFT, there are always going to be prevalent meta comps. These comps are always sought after and sometimes even hard forced just due to the sheer strength of said comps. At the time of filming this video, Hacker Warwick, Reroll Vex, and 5mech admin Hacker Draven just happened to be the cream of the crop, taking over all of the high elo competitive TFT lobbies being seen in almost every single game. But just because these are the meta comps does not mean that these are the comps that will always win out the lobby. For example, in today's video, we will be going over one of the strangest boards I've seen in a while, played by none other than one of NA's strongest solo queue warriors, Dishsoap, who managed to not only obliterate the opposition, but completely steamrolled them and threw them 6 feet under the dirt. It was just an absolute massacre. It was like watching a chess tournament where all of the opponents were children and this man was Magnus fucking Carlsen. So, sit back, relax, and let's get on to the video. Alright, starting off with this game played by none other than Dishsoap, the man, the solo queue legend himself. Currently goes with the chain start. I believe he actually said during this VOD that he wanted to go for the bow, but he was a little too far. Chain, not bad at all. Great for Warwick, great for Draven, because you can just, you know, it's a Titan component, right? And both of those champions really love to play around Titans. I did say in the previous episode that I believe that tier start was the most popular option. It's still a very popular option because of Vex reroll, but because Renegades is also sort of in the meta right now with Jhin, Vex tends to get contested because, you know, if you're playing the Jhin board, you end up playing Vex because of Riftwalker, and because Riftwalker and Renegades tend to pair very well together, you end up playing, you know, a lot of Vexes get taken out whenever you play Renegades. So let's say you have two people playing Renegades, a lot of Vexes get taken out. Vex reroll, a little difficult to pull off, you know, you gotta high roll a little bit. But here we see that Dishsoap already coming out with a Gnar out of an orb, plus the Gadgettine opener, so this is pretty strong. And he gets the bow for the Titans, so already, you're looking at a pretty good spot here. Now, your board's pretty strong as hell, right? Your board is pretty strong. You got a Lulu too, you got the Gnar, you got the Poppy. Gadgettine is a pretty good opening trait to have for your opener. It's decently strong, especially when you have an item slam like Titans that you could throw onto your Gnar who could hold onto it. Pretty good spot. So, the idea here is definitely to win streak, right? How are we going to win streak with these augments? You know, which one are we going to take here? Clearly, it's not Star Guardian Heart. If you said Star Guardian Heart, woo, that's not good. So, you know, it's consistency your second win, right? If you want to really ensure your win streak, second win is the best option here. The reasoning is because while consistency does give you more gold and it has a very high reward, right? Let's say you 5 streak all the way into Krugs, you with the consistency gold, you're going to have a lot of money. A lot of money. It would be really nice to have consistency, right? But compared to other players in the lobby who might also be strongboarding or might also be trying to 5 streak into Krugs, 5 streak is in 5 win streak, right? They might have a combat augment and you won't. And that will become a bit problematic for you. So if you really want to ensure the streak, you want to take a combat augment in this spot and probably want to take a second win from this spot, right? And that's what we see Dishsoap doing. So here, again, the game plan is to simply level to 4 and then just try to streak out. So we're going to fast forward actually even further here because there really isn't much to talk about from this spot, right? Clearly, it's a Titan Slam onto the Gnar because that's going to be our item holder for our Warwick, and we're just going to try to streak out with this board. So we're just going to fast forward here. This is on, I believe this is 4x speed. But we're just going to just breeze through the early game. Because, again, the idea here... He's got a Gnar pair. He's got a Gnar pair at fucking 2-2. Like, there's nothing to see here. There's nothing to see here. This is a very, very easy sort of... At least for the next 3 rounds, very, very easy, right? We're cruising. We're cruising. So, let's think about this real quick, right? We have an open rod. Let's just talk about the carousel, right? The next upcoming carousel. We got open rod. What component do we want, right? Well, ideally, we would want to item slam something. We would want to item slam something, but with Rod, it's a little difficult. Plus the fact that we're probably playing around Warwick right now. You know, are we going to be able to get something that we can slam with the Rod that would be good on Warwick? You know, maybe a Gunblade, maybe, but in all honesty, we're probably better off just grabbing a component that we could use for Warwick. So Cloak is great. Cloak gives us, you know, the opportunity to build BT, Runans, QSS. All these are great options for Warwick. And again, we're playing around Warwick because the Gnar is such a good item holder for Warwick. Crazy fucking good for Warwick because any item that Warwick can use, Gnar can use. And they both use him so well. Any Titans resolves, BTs, QSS, Runans, whatever. They both share the exact same items. So this is the perfect item holder to play into Warwick. Now, I know I said that this board was going to be an interesting board. And let me just say this real quick. Nobody goes into a game going like, I'm going to play an interesting, super unique board. Okay, that's not the correct mindset to have, especially if you want to climb. If you want to have fun, that's the way to go. But in a competitive setting, that's obviously not the way you want to do it, right? You want to follow the meta comps. You want to follow, you know, what the strongest comps are and try to build the strongest comps that are available, because that's obviously what's going to garner you LP, right? So whenever we end up with a weird or a strange board, especially in high elo lobbies, it's usually a byproduct or sort of a serendipitous sort of moment when you're trying to go for this one thing, but another interesting, unique line just happens to present itself for you, right? So that's what we're going to see in this game here. Here, obviously check the admin for what we want for our Warwick. And if you just take a moment to pause and look at this, this is all fucking good for Warwick. Personally, I would take that every 5 seconds your team gains 12% AD. I think that's the best one out of all these options. I didn't see what he took. I think he took that one though. But, and let me just pause here real quick. This guy got a fucking duplicator and he has BT on bench. This is like the most Warwick game you could ever think about. This is such a clear Warwick line for this game here, right? So clearly, and because we want to preserve our streak, we are going to level to 6 here, slam the BT, duplicate the Gnar, and we are Bing chilling. This is a crazy spot to be in. And we get the every 5 seconds your team gains 12 AD in there. We got that admin in there also. This is a crazy, crazy strong board, and Dishsoap is playing it perfectly as of this moment. Obviously, of course, I think most players, especially Masters and above, will probably play exactly the same way that he did, but nonetheless, gotta give credit where it's due. He's so far played this game basically perfectly up until this point. So here we go, going into 3-2, and now this is where things get a little bit more interesting. So let's start talking about this real quick. So here, as we can see, when he is presented, he is presented with, pause here, Gadgeteen Heart, Tiny Titans, and Thrill of the Hunt. Which of these 3 augments would you take from this spot? Okay, if you said Tiny Titans, oh no, that is not good. That is not a great choice. And just, you know, I'm sure most of you guys did not choose Tiny Titans, but for the few that did, you know, it's okay. We don't shame anybody here, but let's just explain it, right? Tiny Titans, bad choice because we are streaking, we are win streaking. We want to keep our tempo going, right? We don't want to just slow it down for no reason. If we can push power into our board through augments, we should probably do that, right? And choosing Tiny Titans here does absolutely nothing, right? Let's say, for comparative sake, your opponent chooses 2 combat augments. You're here with second win, a combat augment, and then Tiny Titans, which does fucking nothing, right? You're a little weaker. You have a little less potential for your strength for the board, right? So you want to either choose Gadgeteen Heart here or Thrill the Hunt, okay? Which would you take from this spot? And keep in mind, yes, we do have a Gnar 2 with 2 out of 3 Gigabest items for Gnar. Would you take Gadgeteen Heart here or Thrill the Hunt? Now, the fun option is to take Gadgeteen Heart. If you want to have some fun, Gadgeteen Heart is the clear winner here. It's not even close. But if we're trying to climb, all right, we got to think critically here. If we're trying to climb, we're trying to garner LP, Gadgeteen Heart is probably not the best option here. And the reason why is because, 1, Thrill the Hunt is a combat augment as well, and a stronger combat augment as well compared to Gadgeteen Heart, at least, you know, assuming we don't hit 5 Gadgeteen. But that brings me to my next point. We have 3 Gadgeteen on our board right now. If we want to hit 5, we need an Annie. Or a Nunu, but, you know, that's not going to happen because, you know, probability. So we need an Annie. And unless the shop that we have currently right now that we are about to see right now has an Annie inside of it, we need to roll for that Annie. If we want to derive combat power out of this augment, we would need to hit an Annie this turn specifically to keep our streak going. That is some bullshit. Might as well just take Thrill. It's a little less fun, but take Thrill because you don't want to lose tempo here. Rolling down your money here because you need to hit a specific unit, not the best choice. And you lose, the more money you end up spending, the more of your tempo you end up losing later on. So Thrill the Hunt here is definitely the correct choice here. Okay, so here, as we can see, Dishsoap is, you know, he's thinking about it, but I think he realizes as well that, you know, Thrill is definitely not the way to, Gadgeteen Heart, pardon me, is definitely not the way to go. It's definitely Thrill. Yes, it's the more veg option. It's the least fun option, but in the wise words of Dishsoap,
having fun is cringe.
There you go. So, moving on with that. Now, I feel like I timed that a little poorly, but you know what, whatever, it is what it is. I'm doing all of this fucking live, you know, I'm not editing that shit in there. But that was a real quote. That's a real quote taken out of this stream. Funny enough. But as we can see here, again, the idea here is just to keep win streaking. Just keep going, keep pushing, keep, you know, trying to keep the tempo alive, right? And as you can see here, we are just trying to streak as long as we can, win streaking for, you know, as long as possible, you know, basically until the game ended the game if we could, but you know, that's not gonna happen. So here we're just gonna fucking 4x it because I mean, nobody in this lobby can even contest this board right now. This board is so strong. He's in such a good spot. He gets a 3 item his carry, which is a 3 cost 2-star. Fucking unreal. All right. So now we are heading into 3-5 here. And what is the name of the game? Again, keep the tempo going. Keep it alive. Here we're gonna see here he's gonna level to 7 here. He's gonna level to 7 here, and he's gonna push levels here. And the reason why is because, again, push tempo. Keep the streak going. And as a general rule of thumb for you guys, in case you did not know, if it is 3-5 and you're on maybe even just like a 2-win streak, if you can have like 30-ish gold and you know you don't need to roll on 7, if you know you just want like, you just want to just keep your tempo up, leveling to 7 at 3-5 is totally okay. Especially if you have 30 gold or more after you level, right? Because let's say you level at 3-5 to level 7. Most people in the lobby are probably still level 6. Most are probably level 6. Leveling to 7 at 3-5 basically allows you to play up a fawn, play up a unit for like 2 extra turns. And you're paying like, what, like 2-3 extra gold for that extra unit slot? That's pretty good. Would you pay 2 or 3 extra gold to have a tactician's crown for 2 rounds? I feel like most people would. So leveling 7 at 3-5, especially if you're on a hot streak or you're win streaking, is definitely almost always a great move to do, especially if you have the economy for it. Which, as we can see here, Dishsoap clearly definitely does. So here, and again, we're gonna fast forward a bit more because again, there's nothing interesting is going on here. He's streaking, he's keeping his streak alive. It is what it is. Okay, so here we are level 7. It's 3-7. It is now Wolves, and we gotta be thinking. Okay, keep in mind that Dishsoap from this spot is still thinking about playing Warwick. He is still from this spot thinking about playing Warwick. This is his current board right now. He's still thinking about playing Warwick. He has 82 fucking gold, and he has 5 Nars, a Morgana pair, right? Just pause real quick and think about this. He has a Morgana pair. He has 5 Nars, right? And he has Alistar. He has a couple 3 costs as well. But he has so much money in this spot. There is so much money. This man is Bill Gates right now. He is fucking filled to the brim with money, okay? So let's think about this, right? He has so much money. Are we really going to pivot into Warwick from this spot? Are we really going to say, fuck everything that we have going on right now, except for maybe the Blitzcrank and maybe, you know, the LeBlanc, maybe the Echo, I don't really know. But, you know, like, are we really going to say fuck all this shit? We're with 82 gold, are we really going to say fuck this shit, we're going to pivot into Warwick? Probably not. With 5 Nars, probably not. So here we have to make a decision. Do we want to commit to the Warwick pivot, or do we want to roll for Gnar, where we're only 4 Nars off, right? Now, if we choose the Warwick path, you just play standard, play the way you go, whatever, right? It's not an incorrect decision to make. But with 82 gold, you have so much money to try to hit this Gnar 3-star. This turn, you could potentially hit Gnar 3-star. Which, you know, you might as well roll down. You might as well play the Gnar reroll. Now, when you play Gnar reroll, right, you might be thinking, and this goes with any reroll comp, right? You might be thinking, oh, but I need to play like X board, or I have to play this board or Y board or whatever, right? You sort of have in mind what the comp should look like, right? But let's say you don't. Let's say you're playing some obscure line. You're playing this Gnar reroll line. What units do you throw in there, right? What are you gonna tech onto your board to make shit work out, right? Well, let's think about this real quick. Gnar is a 3 cost. We are currently level 7. The best odds to find 3 cost units. So as we're rolling down trying to hit this Gnar 3-star, just pick up all the blue shit. Anything that's blue, you take it. You take it out of the store, upgrade whatever the fuck comes your way, and just figure it out. You figure out it later. It's like being a rich kid in a candy store. Anything that resembles candy, you just fucking take it, okay? You're clearly not going to eat all of it, but you're going to just take all this shit because it's free to you because you're a kid and your parents are, I don't know, rich as shit. And you're just taking all this shit, you're stuffing it in your bag, and then later you can decide what you want to do with all this candy. You have opportunity, right, to choose from. And that is what we are going to be doing here. So here, as we can see, he hesitates for a moment, but he goes, you know what? Fuck it. I'm a cook. And he starts rolling down. So he starts rolling down. He's basically picking up every single 3 cost he can find. Any single 3 cost he can find, he's basically trying to take it and say, hey, what did I hit? What did I not hit? What can I play around? He has like 5 LeBlancs, 5 Morganas, 5 Gnars, Shen pair. This guy is sitting on like a crazy amount of 3 costs. So like it almost makes, you know, is this the most optimal perfect Gnar reroll board? No, it's not. But he's in such a good position to just throw all these 3 costs onto his board and just say, fuck it, I'm gonna figure this shit out anyways. I don't work it out. I'll play whatever the fuck I hit, and we're just going to throw it on there. And that is what's really, really great about this sort of play. He's really doing his best to play flexible and play around whatever he's hitting, and, you know, being a bit more free with it, right? Obviously, he's not going to tech in whatever the fuck he hits and throw it in there, but, you know, if it makes some sense, he's going to throw it in there, especially if he hits a lot of copies. Now, here we see 4-2, 4-4-3, right? Clearly, none of these, I mean, aim assist, maybe, sure, you could take it, but, you know, LeBlanc's not the main carry here, Nar is, so we're not going to take that shit. So, here, probably reroll here. Here we get the Warwick augment. Now, let's talk about this real quick. He hits the Warwick carry augment here. He has perfect items for Warwick right now. The game plan, this entire time, up until 4-1, the game plan was Warwick. And then 4-1, he said, fuck it, I'm a cook. He rolled down like 30 gold. Do you take the Warwick augment in this spot? No, you do not. And the reason why is because once you've made a commitment, you have to stick with that commitment. Unlike some of you goofy goobers out there, this guy stays committed. He's already rolled 30 gold. That's a lot of fucking money. He's already rolled 30 gold that's already been invested into this one line, right? Are you going to throw that all away just so you can pivot into this Warwick? Even though, yeah, your items are great for it, right? But it's a Warwick 1, ensure you get the carry augment. But are you really going to be able to pivot out from this spot? Probably not. So instead, what you're going to do, you're going to probably keep rolling either until you hit a Gnar augment or some 4-cost support augment, maybe the Echo augment or whatever, because it's a 4-4-3, you know. But ideally, you want to try to roll for the Gnar or whatever 3-cost augment that you think you could fit onto your board here, right? So we're going to see here, we're going to see that he thinks about it, but ultimately decides against it. Finds this augment, the Shen augment, which you can take a moment to read it. The Recursion Matrix. It's a support augment where if you field him, your entire team takes 8% reduced damage, triple for 4 seconds when they cast abilities. For Gnar, that sounds fucking insane. And this guy already is sitting on Shen Pair. So it makes a lot of sense to pick this one up. This one actually makes a lot of sense. And it's a 3-cost. You could roll for Shen 3. This is a really great option to take here. And just for future reference, by the way, if the augment is on the right side, it's always a support augment. So you know for a fact that the 3-cost, whatever he hits, is going to be the support augment. And hitting this one makes perfect sense. So he ends up taking it here, and that is just clearly the best decision. And he doesn't even have to pick up the orb. He can just keep slow rolling here at level 7. And look at his bench right now. 5 Shens. I think he sold the Morgana. That's okay. But he has 5 Shens, 5 Gnars, 5 LeBlancs. I guess he probably gave up on the Morganas. Or no, he's sitting on 6 Morganas. He's sitting on 2 Morgana 3s. Or 2 Morgana 2s. This guy has so many 3-costs. He has so many 3-costs. His spot. Shut the fuck up. Stop it. I'm recording. Sorry. It is very loud outside. I feel like you can probably hear that. It's some dickhead with a motorcycle. Very loud. Anyways. As we can see here. This man is sitting on a fucking gold mine. He's so close to Morg 3. He's close to Gnar 3. Close to Shen 3. Close to LeBlanc 3. And before a while I was rudely interrupted. We can now see here that it is now 4-3. He's going to slow roll here a bit, right? Pause. Pause right here. He's slow rolling here. He is 1 off Shen 3, 3 off Morg 3, 4 off LeBlanc 3, 4 off Gnar 3. He's very close to a lot of really good... he's really close to a lot of great upgrades here, right? Especially 1 off the Shen 3. Shen 3 is so important here, right? So here he decides to dig and keep digging down to try to find more units that he can have. And he's even selling some of the gadget team. He's giving up a little bit of the power of his board here just so that he can keep rolling here. Now, he only rolls down to about 20, which you could argue that's an APM issue. But, you know, rolling down to 20 is fine, especially if you just aren't hitting. It's good to always stop like a little bit if, you know, you really don't want to hit. But, or if you really aren't hitting your units, then it's a good idea to maybe stop at 20 and just like, you know, be like, oh, like, you know, like I didn't hit, but at least have some level of econ for the next roll down, because chances are at 4-5, you're going to probably keep pushing down and keep, you know, rolling down the rest of your money down to 0. Ideally here, he rolls down to 0, didn't get to do it. It's fine. 4-5 is next. He does lose his streak here though, which kind of sucks. But again, pushing down to try to hit that upgrade to ensure your win streak all the way to stage 5 is a really great play. It didn't work out, but it's definitely the correct play to make because, I mean, come the fuck on. Like, you're just one. Like, he hits Shen 3. It's Shen 3. He hits Shen 3 right here. And you know what's the craziest thing too? Is that he can keep rolling here. Because he's so close to Gnar 3 still. He's so close. He hits Gnar 3. And look at this. He's Gnar 3. He's 2 off Morg 3. And he has a LeBlanc 2 just sitting on his bench. Bing chilling. He's in such a good spot from this spot. It's so disgusting how good of a spot he is. So yeah, he has 0 money. He lost his streak, fine. But how long is he going to be able to streak from this spot? Probably a long ass fucking time. Starting next round. Because his Nar only has 2 items. But, like, his spot, like, this spot's disgusting. Okay, yeah, he lost that last one, whatever. Alright, it happens sometimes. But he has Shen 3, Nar 3, 2 off Morg 3, 3 off LeBlanc 3. His spot is so good. And his admin is so good. His admin is so good for Nar, and it helps boost his AD. He's scaling infinite. 12 AD every 5 seconds, he's scaling infinite, right? And we can see here, this guy. His opponent has... He has what? He has the Warwick, I believe is a support augment. But he has a Warwick 2 with really great items, by the way. These are not the best of the best, but really great items. He's playing a very standard Warwick board. This is Liquid Robin, by the way. Old man. Loses to a 2-item 3-star Nar. No, that's actually insane. Like, Dishsoap spot is so fucking insane from this spot, right? And it just goes to show that, like, yeah, he's playing an obscure line. It's a weird line, but it worked out. He was presented an opportunity to maybe go down a line that is a bit more obscure, but he chose to go it and then committed to it. And you can see here, it's really fucking paying off. Now, here at the item anvil, you can pause, try to figure it out. I mean, it's clearly a bow. And then here, he's slamming the Runans because if he slams a Titans here on the Nar, which is probably better in terms of combat power for Nar, he's left with really awkward components. He'd be left with Zephyr plus the Rabadons. And sure, you could argue Zephyr is nice, especially in the late game, but like, you should really have some level of healing reduction on your team. Like, almost always, you should have some level of healing reduction on your team. So Sunfire is definitely probably more of a priority here. And then just slam the Rabadons onto either Morgana or LeBlanc. Both are fine. I don't think any's stronger than the other, really, per se. I think I did hear that ideally in the current meta, you do want single target over AoE, so that might be part of the reason. I mean, it's probably just due to the scaling. It's probably one scale is a bit harder with AP than the other. I don't really fucking know. But, I mean, this game is over. Like, this game is... We're gonna fast forward a bit here. But this game is basically fucking over. He's hit all his win cons. He can basically just slow roll at 50 gold again, just to hit the Morg 3 and LeBlanc 3, where he's going to speed up. Again, we're at 4x speed. There's not much to see here. But this guy, like, right, his spot's so good, right? So now we have to think about, okay, the spot is so good, right? But is there a way we can still lose? That's the most important thing here. Yes, the spot is so good. And I think a lot of people might have clicked off the video already because they're like, oh, this game's over. Why would I want to keep watching? It's because you need to make sure that you close out the game. Even if you're given a free game, you need to be careful because there are going to be times where even if the game is free, it doesn't mean you can just fucking turn your brain off and just call it, okay? There are times where you really need to be careful and make sure that you are closing out and, you know, stitching up any last loose threads, okay? So here, let's talk about it. So here at 5-6, look at what he does. He scouts the lobby just to make sure, even though his board is so perfect, just to make sure that nothing can ruin his day. Scouts the lobby makes sure that there are no other win cons or threats that might exist in the game for him, right? And so, what do we see here? This guy's board fucking sucks. But he is 2 off, sorry. He is 2 off? I believe 2 off Ace Ult 3. That duplicator, I believe it's not the golden one, so it is 2 off. So this guy is 2 off Ace Ult 3, okay? That's a problem. So what does he do? He pings it. He pings it, and he's going to be an annoying little bitch here, but he's going to ping the ASOs on bench to notify not just him, but to everybody in the lobby, hey, hold the ASOs or this guy's going to win out the lobby, right? Great idea here. What does he do again? Look over here. He looks at this old man's board. This guy's 2 off Warwick 3. So what does he do? He's a little bitch. He pings the Warwicks on the bench. He notifies everybody in the lobby, hey, these are some really serious threats. Hold the Warwicks, hold the ASOls if you even want to try to top 4 in this lobby because those guys are probably going to hit if we don't do something soon. Hold those fucking units, right? Dishsoap knows that if one of them hits Ace Ult 3 or Warwick 3, the game's over for him. He's not going to win out this lobby. So he scouts the rest of the opponents. Notices that he's really the only one with money at this point. He's the only one that could even try to hold and try to, you know, stop the other ones from trying to hit their 3-star 4 cost, right? Because once they hit those, it's fucked. So what does he do here? So going into stage 5-7, he's like, okay, cool. Like, you know, it's a neutrals round, whatever it is what it is. Do we want to level up to A here? and, just taking a legendary? Or do we want to try and make sure that the other opponents in our lobby do not hit their units, do not hit their win conditions? Because we got 2 options here, and chances are making sure that they don't hit their win conditions is a better option. So here, we don't slow roll for the Morgana. We don't slow roll for the LeBlanc. We push level 8. We push level 8, and we are sending it to 0 fucking gold. Sending it down to 0, looking for Warwicks, looking for Ace Souls, holding as many of them as we can to make sure that our opponent is unable to hit their win conditions. In here, as we can see, he hits a Warwick and he hits an Ace Soul. Already significantly harder. There's only 12 copies of a 4-cost in the pool, by the way. So now that there's 10 taken out, and this is just between Dishsoap and the other 2 players, right? 10 copies already taken out of each unit, right? It's already so hard for the other players to win. It's so fucked, right? But luckily for us, or luckily for Dishsoap rather, he keeps rolling, trying to find the win conditions, notices the win conditions still exist, and so he's now holding Ace Soul pair, Warwick pair. This game's over. Unless by some miracle of God, Robin or Tezerker find the last copy of their respective units, there is no chance in hell they're going to win the game. And the odds are so low. The odds are so low. And yes, what a rat. You're holding their opponent's win conditions. No, yeah, he is a rat. But like this, this is what you got to do. If you want to win out, this is what you got to do. Right? And as we can see here, Robin is the last one alive. He still needs his Warwicks, by the way. Not sure if he's going to hit it. But here, as we can see, he's starting to sell his board here at this point, trying to hit the Warwick 3. But there's only 1 copy left in the pool, and, he sold his whole board, didn't hit it. And that's the fucking game. This is a 3-star Shen, 3-star LeBlanc, 3-star Morgana, 3-star Gnar board. The weirdest board I've ever fucking seen, but it worked out. This Gnar, by the way, let me just rewind real quick. Hold on a fucking moment here. Let's just take a look at this real quick. Hold on, what traits does this Gnar have active? It's just Prankster. This Gnar has Prankster active, and that's it. No gadgeting, no nothing. Not even like 4 pranks. It's 2. It's a 2 Prankster. This Morgana's just in here for fun. The admin is not even good for the LeBlanc. It's an 80 admin. Random LeBlanc 3. Random Morgana 3. A Blitzcrank 2. And a Shen 3, which Shen is always nice. Shen's always nice to have. But like, this is such a strange board. This board is so fucking odd. It's so strange. And if you told me that this was a meta board, I would not believe you. And it's not. It's not. But the fact that Dishsoap was able to play around his win conditions and play around the opportunities that were presented to him, sure, you could argue that, yeah, it's a high roll game. It's a high roll game. Yes, he does have a bit of luck in this game. Yes, luck is a factor in this game, right? And yes, he did get a bit lucky. But when an opportunity, especially at that 4-1, right? Or a 4-2 rather, when he was presented the Warwick augment, a lot of low elo players definitely take that Warwick augment and they try to pivot out, right? The fact that he stays committed and he ends up playing this obscure fucking line and understanding how to utilize this opportunity that was gifted to him to the absolute max potential that it could possibly be, that in itself is a lot of skill. And that, I think, is what makes this game so fucking interesting. Because if you don't know how to utilize your luck and know how to utilize that to your advantage, there's no difference between you high rolling or low rolling. You would not know the difference. So quite honestly, I think this was a beautiful game. I think this was a very beautifully played game. But there you go. That's the video. Take care, guys, and happy climbing.